Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing a higher version of yourself, endlessly trying to believe in your dreams? What if the real transformation isn't about what you believe, but about what you become so profoundly that your truth is simply who you are without effort or doubt? Tonight, we're ascending to the ultimate stage of inner mastery, the embodiment of truth. Let us now ascend to the highest rung of this great ladder of inner transformation, the embodiment of truth. For once you've assumed your new identity, and once you've begun to consistently live from that place, there remains one final threshold. The truth must no longer be something you believe. It must become who you are. The great error most people make is to treat truth as an idea to be affirmed or a principle to be repeated. But truth isn't a concept. It is a state of being, and until you fully embody the truth of who you are, your words will remain echoes rather than the voice of creation itself. What does it mean to embody truth? It means you're no longer practicing faith. You're living from knowing. It means you don't visit the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You reside in it. It means that every fiber of your being responds to life as the one who already is. This is the end of effort, the end of striving. It's the stillness that comes when you fully remember. When the truth of your divine authorship no longer feels like something to learn, but something you cannot forget. Most fall short of this because they cling to the outer world for validation. They wait for proof. But the proof, my friends, is the feeling within. The world will mirror it, yes, but the reflection is never the source. You must reverse your loyalty. Consider the one who is truly wealthy in consciousness. They do not scan every transaction for evidence of their abundance. They move through life with the silent authority of one who knows the well cannot run dry. Consider the one who is deeply loved. They do not seek reassurance from every interaction. They walk with the quiet radiance of one whose love is not earned but assumed. This is what it means to embody the truth. You no longer chase experience. You express identity. When you live from this space, your entire orientation shifts. You cease being a seeker. You become a revealer. You no longer ask, "How can I get?" but instead declare, "What I am, I give." And in that giving, the universe pours itself through you. The paradox, of course, is that as you give from your embodied state, you receive more than ever. But you do not give to receive. You give because it is your nature. The cup overflows, not by design, but by essence. This is the dimension beyond technique. It is not about imagining, affirming, scripting, or visualizing. These are beautiful entry points, but they are scaffolding. They are meant to fall away once the house is built. When you embody the truth of your being, life becomes effortless. You speak, and it is done. Not because you are trying to manifest, but because you are simply expressing what has already been accepted within. Let us now make this real. What truth are you ready to embody? Not what you want, not what you admire. What are you willing to be? Are you willing to be the one who no longer doubts? Are you willing to be the one who no longer negotiates their worth? Are you willing to be the one whose mere presence shifts the atmosphere of a room? This is the question of embodiment. It requires courage. For to embody a higher truth, you must die to the lesser one. You must abandon the small self, not deny its existence, but refuse to let it lead. You will know you have crossed into embodiment when reaction is replaced by response, and when response is governed not by emotion, but by identity. You no longer say, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you ask, "What does this reflect about who I am being?" Responsibility becomes liberation, not burden. Let me be clear. Embodiment does not mean you never experience challenges. It means your relationship to those challenges changes. You no longer personalize them. You no longer fear them. You recognize them as part of the refinement, part of the pattern, part of the dance. And you dance without resistance. Embodiment is not stoicism. It is aliveness. It is joy not dependent on outcome. It is gratitude not limited to condition. You move from hoping to holding. You move from chasing to choosing. You move from effort to inevitability. Let me give you a simple practice. To begin your embodiment, each morning before rising, speak aloud the qualities of your truth. Not in future tense, not as affirmation, but as fact. I am the one who is certain. I am the one who radiates peace. I am the one whose word is law in my world. Let these not be performances. Let them be revelations. Speak them until they feel boring, until they feel obvious, for when the truth becomes ordinary, you have begun to live it. And throughout your day, let your actions reflect that truth. If you are the one who is certain, what do you do when doubt arises? If you are the one who is abundant, how do you spend, save, and share? If you are the one who is loved, how do you walk into a room? Live the answer. The world does not need your explanation. It needs your demonstration, and in that demonstration you become the message. This is why the law is called perfect. It does not respond to effort. It responds to identity. So I ask you again, not what do you want, but what truth are you willing to embody today? The truth that you are chosen, the truth that you are the source, not the seeker, the truth that your word is the creative impulse of God itself. If you can walk in this, the outer must align. For the law is no respecter of persons. It is a servant to your state. And you, my dear friend, are the master. Walk as one who knows. Speak as one who is. Move as one who has already become. This is not performance. This is embodiment. And in that embodiment, you fulfill the command. Be still and know that I am God. Now let us turn our attention to the deepest and most enduring transformation of all, the complete reconstitution of your self-concept. For once your desires have manifested, and once you have begun to stabilize that new identity, there remains a far greater calling, the permanent recalibration of who you believe yourself to be. This is the ultimate work of conscious creation, not merely to summon events or attract things, but to remake yourself in the image of your highest vision, to become the living embodiment of the divine principle within you, the operant power not in theory but in demonstrated reality. You must now understand that every manifestation is only as stable as the self-concept that supports it. If you have brought forth abundance, but still harbor the inner belief that you are unworthy, the abundance will feel temporary or hollow. If you have created love, but still see yourself as unlovable, your relationships will feel strained or uncertain. The outer reflects not what you want, but what you wear. And so I ask you now, who are you? Not based on memory, habit, or the roles you have played for others, but who are you in the silence of your own awareness, when no one else is looking, when you have laid down every identity given to you by family, culture, or circumstance? Your self-concept is the true magnet of your experience. It is the lens through which all life is interpreted. It is the architect of your expectations, your reactions, your permissions, and your boundaries. To transform your self-concept is to alter the structure of your world. This is not a casual process. It is an inward revolution, a deliberate dismantling of false assumptions, and a bold claiming of truth. Begin this process with ruthless honesty. Observe your default inner dialogue. What do you believe is possible for you? What do you expect when no one is there to correct your thought? What image of yourself lingers beneath the affirmation? You will find that most people live in a subtle state of contradiction. They speak affirmations with their lips, but nurture doubt in their hearts. They visualize success while quietly expecting failure. They perform techniques while holding on to an inner concept of lack, limitation, or victimhood. This misalignment is the reason results are delayed or denied, not because the law is flawed, but because the foundation of identity remains unchanged. Let us return to the principle. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are, and what you are is determined by what you believe yourself to be. Therefore, your task is no longer to imagine isolated events. Your task is to become the kind of person for whom those events are normal. What does that mean in practice? It means you stop visualizing wealth as an object and start being the person who naturally generates, receives, and maintains wealth. It means you stop asking for love and start being the person who is inherently lovable, who radiates love, who assumes love wherever they go. It means you no longer plead for health, but become the person whose entire consciousness is aligned with vitality, strength, and well-being. These are not surface changes. These are internal reorientation, and they require discipline. Let your new self-concept be deliberate. Construct it word by word, feeling by feeling, assumption by assumption. Ask yourself each morning, what does the version of me who lives this life believe? Then think those thoughts. Speak those words. Move that energy. Let your new identity become your spiritual practice. Meditate not on outcomes, but on embodiment. Feel into the qualities of your new self. What is their posture? What is their pace? How do they make decisions? What are their standards? What do they no longer tolerate? You must rehearse this new self until it becomes second nature, until it feels inevitable. And yes, there will be resistance. The old self does not go quietly. It will whisper old doubts, replay old patterns, tempt you to retreat. But you must not engage. You must not wrestle. Simply return again and again to the state of the new self. Not with effort, but with certainty. You do not need to fix the old. You need only replace it. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency. When you find yourself thinking, speaking, or reacting from the old identity, gently interrupt. Replace the thought, revise the moment. Every time you do, you reinforce the new self-concept. And with each repetition, your reality begins to shift. Now let us go further. Your new self-concept must also include how you relate to the unknown. The old self feared uncertainty. The new self embraces it. The old self demanded guarantees. The new self walks by faith. The old self reacted to appearances. The new self defines them. This shift in identity is the true miracle. For when you become the one who is never shaken, never threatened, never lost in circumstance, you step fully into your divine power. You realize, I am not the result of the world. I am the cause of it. And from this realization, life begins to reflect your inner dominion. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but as a natural expression of your new identity. Let me now give you a simple but profound exercise. Each day before sleep, ask yourself, did I live today as the version of myself I have chosen to become? If the answer is yes, give thanks. You are reinforcing the new pattern. If the answer is no, do not condemn. Simply revise. Imagine the day as you would have lived it. Feel the new identity acting, speaking, and deciding through you. Then fall asleep in that feeling. This is how you reprogram the self. This is how you recode your world. And now I leave you with this. All manifestation flows from the self you assume to be real. You do not need to force, fix, or chase. You need only become, not one, not briefly, but wholly. For when you live from your chosen self-concept long enough, the world must conform. It has no choice, because consciousness is the only creative power. And you, my dear friend, are consciousness made visible. So the question is not what you want. The question is, who are you willing to be? Choose well, for your reality already awaits your answer. Let us now step even further into the unfolding mystery, what it truly means to become the person your desire calls for. For after the manifestation, after the outer world has bowed to the power of your inner speech, you are faced with a new frontier. You see, it is not enough to receive. You must become. The old self, the one who longed, who reached, who waited, is now obsolete. That self cannot coexist with the manifestation. For if you continue to identify with the version of you who was lacking, longing, and doubting, you will inevitably recreate the conditions of lack, longing, and doubt. It is law. And so, The true work begins here. You must not only speak from the state of the wish fulfilled, you must now live from it. Embody it. Assume its tone, rhythm, and emotional palette. Every aspect of your being must harmonize with the frequency of your new reality. The way you walk, the way you sit in silence, the way you respond when no one is watching. These seemingly small moments become the architecture of your new world. Identity is not merely an idea. It is a practiced frequency. It is repetition made holy. Many of you have successfully imagined a new result, only to find the manifestation fading, dissolving, or destabilized. Why? Because your identity did not evolve with it. You received the fruit, but remained rooted in the soil of the old self. Understand this. Manifestation is not a single event. It is a continuous echo of who you believe you are. Let us take a practical example. You have manifested a position of leadership. Excellent. But if inwardly you continue to see yourself as unsure, insecure, or unworthy, your behavior will betray this identity. Your energy will leak doubt, and soon, circumstances will begin to reflect it. The outer world is not testing you. It is matching you. Therefore, you must ask yourself daily, who am I now? Not in thought, but in tone, posture, inner dialogue. Who am I when I am not trying? Your imagination must now serve a higher function, not just to project future outcomes, but to stabilize present being. Begin to visualize not only outcomes, but ways of being. Imagine yourself speaking with confidence, making decisions with clarity, standing in a posture of quiet power. This is the new theater of creation, the inner rituals that sculpt your outer life. Let your inner speech now reflect your elevated identity. Replace not only the words, but the energy of the old self. Where once you might have said, I hope they like me, now you think, my presence is a gift wherever I go. Where once you might have said, I don't know if I can, now you affirm, my ability expands with every experience. These are not affirmations for the sake of repetition. These are the linguistic habits of your future self. You must rehearse them until they become unconscious, until they become you. Let us go deeper still. Every self-concept has an emotional tone. Identify it, feel it, become familiar with it. If you are now successful, what does peace feel like in that identity? If you are now loved, what does certainty feel like in that state? Anchor your nervous system in these tones. Your breath, your pace, your gaze, let them all reflect the ease of fulfillment. You must train yourself not just to believe, but to dwell. To guide it in this new state. For to dwell in the state is to make it permanent. This is why so many manifestations seem to vanish. They were achieved through effort, but not stabilized through identity. Effort may bring the result, but only identity maintains it. Consider this. The most powerful assumption you can make is not about a specific desire, but about who you are. I am a creator. I am always supported. I am the embodiment of abundance. Such assumptions become frameworks through which all other desires are fulfilled effortlessly. From these identities, manifestation becomes a side effect. Now let us address an advanced principle: refinement. As your identity expands, so too must your standard. What you once accepted no longer fits. What you once tolerated now feels foreign. This is not arrogance, it is energetic accuracy. You are no longer the version of yourself who begged for scraps of validation, attention, or security. You are now the one who speaks from fullness. And so, refine your self-talk. Let it become more elegant, more powerful, more precise. Do not say, I guess I can do this. Say, I am fully capable and my success is inevitable. Do not say, I hope this lasts. Say, this is now my new normal. Let your vocabulary reflect your vision. Let your phrasing confirm your position. This is the art of embodied language. And now, a final mystery. When you fully assume the identity of your desire, you will no longer feel the urgency of the desire itself. For the one who is does not strive, the one who is does not yearn. Instead, you will feel stillness. Stillness is not stagnation. It is the signature of fulfillment. It is the soul's exhale. And in that stillness, new desires will arise. Not from lack, but from inspiration. Follow them, create again. Let your life be a symphony of evolving identities, each one more refined, more radiant, more real than the last. This is the path of conscious creation. Not event after event, but identity after identity. World after world, born from inner alignment. And so I leave you with this. The true manifestation is not the object. It is the self you become. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world, and yet remain a stranger to his own soul? Come home to the self that has always been waiting, the one who already is, the one who always will be, the one who speaks, and it is done. That, my dear friend, is the final act of creation, to become. And in becoming, you begin again. Let us now explore what lies beyond the final hour, what comes after those 3 sacred days of mental alignment. For if you have remained true to your inner conversation, if you have persisted in your assumption without wavering, you will find yourself not at an end, but at a beginning. The outer world, once thought immutable, will now appear as clay in your hands, malleable, responsive, and obedient to your state of consciousness. But what then? What happens once the law fulfills your desire? This, my dear friends, is where many falter once more. For manifestation, though glorious, is not the goal. It is a sign that your inner state has crystallized into form. You must now guard against the most subtle of traps, the temptation to rest upon the manifestation rather than continue living from the creative state. You see, fulfillment can either reaffirm your identity or tempt you to forget the very principle that brought it forth. You might think, I have arrived, and in doing so, unknowingly return to a passive inner state. But the law of consciousness is not a one-time performance. It is a perpetual unfoldment. It is rhythm, not ritual. You are not merely manifesting an event, you are becoming a new being. So I say to you, once the desire has externalized, deepen your awareness. Notice how the world bends to your assumption. Yes, but more importantly, notice how your self-concept must now expand. Your new life demands a new speech, a new way of seeing, a new standard of being. If you manifested wealth, do not revert to the inner conversations of limitation. Let your thoughts now reflect greater stewardship, higher generosity, deeper wisdom. If you have attracted love, let your mind speak as one worthy of it. If you have realized health, do not glance backward to identify with sickness once more. This is the continuation of mastery. You are not maintaining a manifestation, you are maintaining a self. Let us consider an eternal truth. Consciousness, once expanded, can never return to its former dimensions without pain. And the pain, dear friends, comes not from loss of things, but from loss of alignment. It is not the world punishing you, it is your soul beckoning you forward, asking you to remain awake. So ask yourself daily, who am I now that this has manifested? What must I now believe, assume, and feel to maintain this new reality? This leads us to a deeper mystery. Every fulfilled desire is not a conclusion, but an invitation. It is your own consciousness saying, come further, there is more. For God within you is infinite, and to live by the law of assumption is to engage in a never-ending conversation with that infinite source. Do not mistake arrival for completion. Completion is the beginning of the next cycle. You will find this to be true in the most ordinary of ways. Perhaps you manifested a new home. Once inside, you begin to think of furnishing it, beautifying it, making it a sanctuary. This is not greed. This is expansion. It is the very nature of God in you to grow, to express, to reflect more fully the infinite richness of being. Let yourself be led by that desire. not the grasping of the ego, but the whisper of the soul that knows more is possible. More is natural. This brings us to an advanced understanding. Once your desire manifests, you must create a new desire, not for the sake of lack, but to keep yourself aligned with your true nature, which is expansion. Without this, consciousness stagnates. It is not enough to have created a new reality. You must now become a new being. You must speak new words to yourself, for the old speech belongs to the person you were. Imagine this. You once assumed the state of being loved, and it came. Now, your conversation must shift from attracting love to expressing love, sustaining love, and growing through love. The assumption evolves. The script of your inner speech must evolve accordingly. If you do not evolve it, you risk falling back into unconscious creation, where you drift, react, and ultimately dismantle what was divinely established. For the law does not judge, it responds. Always. Let me offer you a practice. After manifestation, spend time each day in the state of reflection. Ask not, is it still here? But rather, how can I expand it? How can I deepen my awareness of it? How can I reflect it outward in greater measure? This is how you continue as a conscious creator. In this way, you move beyond isolated miracles and enter into a life of sustained mastery. You do not merely create new experiences. You create a new self, and with it, a new world again and again. Many people come to this teaching seeking a single change, a job, a partner, a healing. But those who remain, those who truly awaken, realize the deeper invitation is to live from creative consciousness as a way of being. You are not a wish maker. You are the embodiment of the word. Therefore, never let fulfillment become your stopping point. Let it be your launching point. When your desire has manifested, you must say to yourself, now I create again, not because I am lacking, but because I am limitless. The law responds to movement, not frantic effort, but the divine motion of consciousness expanding, evolving, and expressing. Therefore, continue the conversation within. Let it evolve, let it mature, let it lead you into deeper realizations of who you are. And should you ever fall back into old assumptions, do not despair. Simply return. The voice that brought your desire into form is still within you, waiting to be used, waiting to create again. In truth, the journey never ends. It unfolds. Like the spiral of life itself, you are always coming home to a higher version of yourself. You are the operant power, and your world will always reflect the one you assume yourself to be. So now, having completed the 3 days, the only question left to ask is this: who will you become next? And from what sacred inner word shall that next world be born?